In 2019, Nintendo made a remake of the amazing Zelda game, Link's Awakening, and it looks stunning, and it was just a great game. But it also got me thinking, when will we see another remake? Or will we see another remake? Is it going to be as good as Link's Awakening? Will it be better? And can we expect a whole collection of 2D remakes, or is it just this one? That's what we're going to be talking about today. So, at the E3 Direct in 2019, Nintendo announced the remake of Link's Awakening for Nintendo Switch, after previously being on the Game Boy. Now, the graphics on this game were absolutely amazing. It just looked like amazing. You couldn't it was probably the best it could look like. You couldn't ask for any more of what it would look like. Then it came to Switch. We all bought it. We all played it. All of the Zelda players, and then it was a really good game. It was an amazing game. I enjoyed it a lot. It was a really good game. And what actually got me thinking about a couple of days ago was, if they've done it for that one, Link's Awakening, well, it's a remake, so it's not gonna take as long as it takes to make a new game. When will we see another one, or will we see another one? And I was thinking, well, you got to put it into categories. First of all, when will we see it? And then what games would we want to be remade? Because I don't think we get all of them. That would be amazing. That'd get like a collection of like 2D remakes, all with like graphics like the original Zelda, Zelda 2, Link to the Past would probably be a big shout. Minish Cap, Oracle Games, just having them all in like on one Switch. I think Switch would be like named like the greatest console of all time if it had every 2D Zelda remade, because that would just be like Zelda heaven. But yeah, so we're gonna first go into when we're gonna see it. Now, with the time and like the date, because Tears of the Kingdom is coming out next year in May, that kind of closes the gap for anything really Zelda-like to come out in 2023. Obviously, it could be wrong, but it could be announced next year. It could be announced, say it comes out in May. It could be announced E3, but I don't think it will, because that's only like a month after, and I don't think anyone's gonna be bothered about it, because some people still wouldn't even have Tears of the Kingdom, of course. So it maybe be announced September Direct. I don't think it would be, but it's most likely going to be announced. If they do make another one, that is, obviously we don't know if they are, but if they did, because theoretically speaking, it'd probably be somewhere in 2024, I would say. So maybe like February 2024, or maybe not, maybe like June, so like E3 2024, and it comes out like September somewhere. Because then that would have been like that's weird. That would be 5 years from when Link's Awakening came out. That feels so weird. 2024 was 5 years since 2019. That's weird. Because that, I would say, that would be like a year and a half for Tears of the Kingdom. So they could release something there. Like Breath of the Wild obviously came out, and then in 2017, and then they released Hyrule Warriors the next year, which obviously won't be is nowhere near as big as a 2D Zelda remake. But I guess you could have won 2024 September, maybe even like somewhere of the summer. I reckon you get away with that, I would say. But just because there's about a year and a half, I would say, is a big enough gap for a game, because obviously they'll probably release DLC for Tears of the Kingdom, just like they did Breath of the Wild, which will give us a bit more to play. Like, obviously, just to play for main Zelda games, Tears of the Kingdom will probably last about 5 years. But when we have like another remake, Breath of the Wild came out in March 2017, and then Link's Awakening came out in September 2019. So that's over 2 years. That's about 2 years and a half. So actually, maybe a year and a half is a bit low. Maybe it's not. Maybe that was just because they just planned it to do it then. So it could still be 2024. That's not on the card, because they like to release a Zelda game every year, which they haven't done in 2020, which is 2022, which is very weird, because normally they do. And I don't know why they haven't done one this year, but maybe they still do. I doubt that, but I don't know. Maybe they didn't have anything planned for this year, so they couldn't. There's no point in making a quick game that's going to be not very good just to keep the streak going, because then it just kind of looks like the streak's desperate, if you get what I mean. And then you have the question of what Zelda game would it be? Now, so the two ones it could probably be the original Zelda. It could be Zelda 2. It could be A Link to the Past. It could be the Minish Cap. It could be the Oracle games. It could be I don't know. but it could be basically any 2D Zelda game. Now, I know Link to the Past is a lot of people's like favourite, because just Link to the Past is a classic, isn't it? It's when Zelda started to become Zelda, because like the first two Zeldas weren't really, they were kind of like an 80s game that didn't really, it was Zelda, but it wasn't like, oh yeah, The Legend of Zelda, yeah, I know what that is. It was kind of just like a game that was called Legend of Zelda. It didn't really matter what it was. But then I think Link to the Past kind of, it made it The Legend of Zelda. It was The Legend of Zelda. Because you can tell that the Legend of Zelda game when you play it now. But I feel like the original games, if they were the only two games, you wouldn't really think of that as like it's not a different type, just another game called Legend of Zelda. While I think Link to the Past started to change that, it started becoming a Legend of Zelda, because that was like the third one. So like it made it a series basically. So Link to the Past, I think, is a big shout. Now we can already play these games like on the NES, on Nintendo Switch Online, but they're not really remakes. They're literally like the original. So I think that they could still make a remake for these, because even though they are on there, they're the originals, and remakes are completely different to originals, obviously. So that is a shout. A Link to the Past, which I think is a big one, I would probably say. And then you have like the Minish Cap, the Oracle games, stuff like that. And I feel like the Minish Cap is a lot of people's favourite Zelda game, and I'm sure it is because it's a very good game. So that could also be another one. You got to think of which one's Nintendo going to make, which one's going to win them the most money, because obviously the Link's Awakening that got a lot of sales. So they've got to think which one's going to sell the most. Now I personally think either the Minish Cap or A Link to the Past, because Link to the Past, like I said, is just a classic, but then also a lot of people love a Minish Cap. You've got Spirit Tracks as well, and you've got Phantom Hourglass, but they're not really like those kind of type of games, are they? And then also you've got the Oracle games, but I don't think, because the problem with the Oracle games is that when you bring one of them over, you kind of have to make a remake for both of them, which you'd say was easy because, you know, they're just 2D games. But to do both, that's kind of hard, because, and they won't be together, obviously, they'll be two separate ones, and there you go, there's your problem, because they can't just release seasons or ages by themselves. They have to release both of them, because they're like a Pokemon game. They're not, obviously, they are different games, but they're a bit like a Pokemon game where you get two, and then they release both of them, you have to release one. So if you did a season, you'd have to release ages. If you released ages, you'd have to release seasons. So that means we'd have to make two. Now that kind of takes a lot of time, and it won't be easy. Like, maybe that is why they haven't released Infinity. Maybe they've been doing two. I don't know. But so for one that's going to earn the most money, most popular, it would probably be Minish Cap or Link to the Past. I'd probably say, in my opinion. And then ones that I would want. So we'll do it from one I want least. Not necessarily I don't want it, but I want least to the best, because I want all of them. But the one I want least would probably be Oracle of Ages. I don't know. I just like, I don't dislike it, but compared to the other ones, I wouldn't want it as much, if you get what I mean. So even though it's the bottom, it's not one that I don't want. It's just one that I want least out of them all, because I want them all. But this one I want least. Then I'd probably give Minish Cap. I'd probably put second. Just because, I don't know, I've never really played it that much, so it's probably another reason to have a remake of it so I could try it. But I don't know, I don't think Minish Cap is as good as Link to the Past, just because Link to the Past is just amazing. And then I'd probably say, so this isn't like what's the best, it's just which one I would want, because my personal playing experience is which one I preferred the most. So then obviously it would be Link to the Past. I'd probably put next, just because Link to the Past would be a great game. They'd all be good games, but Link to the Past is just so good. And then I'd probably put Oracle of Seasons first, just because I enjoyed Oracle of Seasons a load. But I would take Link to the Past just as much. They're on equal part, Oracle of Seasons and Link to the Past, of which one I'd want. I'd probably expect Link to the Past more, because it's one game, like I said, the Oracle games are two. But if I had to take one, it would be between Oracle of Seasons and Link to the Past. They're kind of like on par, I don't really know which one I want, obviously. And then I think they are like the top four ones the most chance. And would they do the same art style, like the same art style, kind of, as the Link's Awakening remake? Because that was a beautiful game, and if they did, that'd be perfect. Can you imagine like playing the original Zelda, like thingy, with the new graphics? That would be good. So I don't think either the first two would be Like maybe the first one, just 'cause it's the first one. But I think if it's for actual popularity, it won't be the first or second, just because they're not as good as the others. So I don't think it would be as good, but in my personal opinion, to win them other than the first one. I could see the first one maybe is because it's the first ever game. But if they weren't picking it just for the first ever game, I would not see either of the first two come in. I could see the rest of them though. So I'd probably take A Link to the Past or All Seasons in my personal opinion, just because they're both, all the games, they're both pretty good. So that's just like which one I would take. Probably, like I said, around summer 2024, maybe autumn 2024, probably autumn 2024 if we do get them, which we might not, because you know, maybe they don't want to make such big games on the Switch by 2024. Then again, Tears of the Kingdom has just come out. It's like, not hasn't come out, but it is going to come out next year in like spring, so like May. So it's not, wouldn't be that, like there's like a year gap. So unless they only plan Tears of the Kingdom to be like a year thing, which and a mainline Zelda game isn't a year thing, so I wouldn't expect that. Then I think there is still time for a 2D Zelda to come out. Just because I think Link's Awakening by itself is, I mean, obviously I'm not complaining, but I feel like it feels like wrong not to do another one because of how nice that one is. Like, it's so good, Link's Awakening. Like, I loved it. Everybody seemed to like it at least. So I feel like if you didn't, it kind of be like a missed opportunity of what you could have done. You know what I mean? So I do feel like they will do one. That's my guess, that they will do one of them. Just which one? So I'd have to say, what I want is probably A Link to the Past or Good Seasons. What's going to happen? Probably A Link to the Past, which I'd be fine with, or Mage Cap. But anyway, those are just my thoughts and what I think. I would love to see what games you would like, or when you think they would make them, or what style they'd make them, or which ones you think, not want, but which one you think they're gonna do, or the reason why you want them, or the reason why you think they're going to do. Maybe because one of them they definitely earn more money on, one that there's maybe been a leak about, I don't know. Just give me what you think on your opinions on these 2D Zelda remakes, because I think there's a lot of potential. If you look at Link's Awakening, to how good it looks, I think there's a load of potential they could do. If they made games look like that was 3 years ago, so they'd probably make it even better. But if you make games like that, all of them, like any of them, would look amazing with that. So I think they definitely would do it. But I just want to hear what your opinions of which ones you would want and why you'd want them. Maybe you have good experiences with some of them, like Minish Cap. Maybe you have good experiences with Link to the Past or Oracle games, or the original. Maybe you like the original or something, you know. So please do tell me in the comments. If you like this video, please do like. And if you really like the video, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out. I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.
Better to have real solitude all by yourself.